This looks like a job for Superman.
Hey everybody, Rez the Collector here with an action figure review, and I know it's been quite a while since I've done a review. I do apologize. Hoping to be able to get some reviews out, hopefully within the next few weeks. Obviously getting one done now, and what better figure to jump back into the reviewing game with than the DC Collectibles Icons Superman figure. This is a figure I have been waiting for a very long time. Ever since the announcement and then my purchase of my first Icons figure, which was Lex Luthor. And I saw the articulation and the quality. I had been just salivating for this figure to come out, and I don't know what was going on with Big Bad Toy Store, but they played with my emotions. Now, for those of you who don't care for my rambling, probably skip ahead until I start to move the box around. Once I'm started to move the box, I'll pick it up real quick and shake it for you guys, and once you see that, you'll know that the talking about the figure's beginning. But right now I'm just kind of doing my rambling thing. So yeah, salivating at Big Bad Toy Store. They had it as, for some reason they had it as arriving in like February, and I don't know why they had it released like that. I don't know what information they received, and I know it's always approximate with BBTS, and you know it's never an exact date or anything like that, but you know, I don't know, for some reason it's generally somewhat close unless there's a lot of delays. And even the DC website had a date that was around there. And the DC website's generally very close to accurate, somewhat, whatever. But yeah, so I like pre-ordered it like 2 days before it was said it was supposed to be released, and then it just never. It even showed as in stock on the DC website. It showed as in stock, which was crazy, and of course it never showed up, never popped up anywhere. Never saw it, because sometimes, you know, out in like California they get shit really quick, probably because it all hits like the port of LA, and then you know, then hits their stores first because it's right there. But yeah, nothing. Then I got an email because I had pre-ordered it not only through Big Bad Toy Store but also through the DC website. And once I finally got an email from DC saying there was some kind of delay at the factory. And I'm like, okay. And then, yeah, now here we are into July. Well, basically, I guess late June. And then what's now July 4th, obviously. Happy Independence Day for those of us in the United States. Finally, the figure is released. And I got my first one. God, I don't remember who released it. BBTS actually released it first. At least to me, because I had checked in my area after some people had found them at their local comic stores, and I came up with nothing. And finally, you know, that one came, and I gotta say, well, honestly, you know what? That's talk for the review. So I'm gonna pick up the box and shake it real quick, and let's get into it. Alright, those of you who didn't want to listen to me ramble, welcome back. Alright. Here we go. Alright, welcome back. Taking a look at the box, you can see on the front it's got an awesome picture of Superman, well, not picture, but awesome clear window. That all of the DC collectibles are going to now. They're going to this new, smaller packaging with this bigger window. They go with the lettering on the side of the box here. They are numbering their figures, something they've done kind of off and on throughout the years. Of course, we got the DC Comics here. We've got the icons, of course, with the Superman symbol in the center of the O. The DC Collectibles page leaf icon there. On the side, you can see that this is the 10th figure in the line. DC Comics icon, Superman, Man of Steel. On the back, we see the other figures in this line. Of course, we have Superman. We have Aquaman. You can see in the background right there. We've got Atomica, and you can see her right there. And Harley Quinn, that I do not own, and I don't intend to purchase her. I like the Icons line, and actually, you know what, I may end up with that Harley, because that is a very classic Harley Quinn. That's the original Batman the Animated Series costume, so I may end up with that Harley. Of course, on the top here, we have the Superman symbol. On the bottom, we have the erroneous data, such as addresses and whatnot, for the various companies. Inside the box, you can see we have the Superman figure, along with the Fortress of Solitude droid, Kelix, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. This is one I still have in package. I do have the figure open as well, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at. Actually, I have a couple of them open. So we have the figure, we have the accessory, and the extra set of hands, which are right here. And you can't see that because the camera's not pointed at it. All right. Start with the accessories. He, of course, comes with two fists. A lot of Superman collectors like to have the two fist on the figure because the majority of the time in any action pose, Superman's going to be punching for the most part. There is these grasping hand options for the right and left, but the nice thing about these figures is all of their hands are basically interchangeable, and for a lot of figures that's not going to be any help unless they come out with, you know, figures with the same colored you know, gloved hands. There are a few that could probably, you know, be interchanged right now between Aquaman, Green Arrow, and Lex Luthor possibly. But for just bare hands, you do have the option, if you own the figure, of the Black Adam there in the background. He comes with lightning, which isn't going to be too useful for Superman unless you're doing something with a custom electricity Superman. He also comes with two grasping hands. They're a little bit bigger though, and I think a little bit... Oh, guys just fell down. A little bit better sculpted, in my opinion. Taking a look here, this here is the Black Adam, and this one is the Superman. And I really do think that there's a lot of proportions that's kind of off on this figure, and we're going to get to that. But yeah, you can see definitely the hand size there. Definite difference between the two figures. But the peg size is the same. So basically, actually, sadly, the peg on the Superman figure is a little bit bigger. Geez, so I don't even know. I mean, this could go in there, but probably not a tight fit. Yeah, it goes on. Yeah, it doesn't stay on, though. That sucks. I'm sorry, that's so out of focus. There we go. Yeah, it goes on, but doesn't stay on. And I guess the hand does look a little comically large. No, not really. And because the other hands are a little small. No. Alright. So, Black Adam's hands are not going to be an interchangeable option, which kind of sucks. Alright. So let's take a look at the figure itself. Back to focusing. I find that the head is really, really small. That's my opinion. Some other people have said that they think yes, it's small, but they don't think it's too small. I think that that head to me, and it's not just, you know, that head to me is just, it's too small. When you compare it to not only the figures of the same size, but figures in the same line. Oh, and everything's falling. I mean, compare it to Luther's head. There's a definite size difference there for poor Superman. But they're the same scale figure, the same line, but Superman's head is really, really small. I mean, when you compare it to figures not in this line, but in the same size group, it's tiny. I don't know. I'm happy with the figure. Don't get me wrong. I'm ecstatic that we've got an Icons figure, and the thing about the Icons line is for the majority of these figures, they're giving specific comic references as to what figure, what costume, or what look the figure's wearing in what particular story, or based on what particular artist. So we do have the open end of being able to take these figures and remake them in the line with adjusted looks. So we could still get a classic Superman, but from a different storyline, and hopefully a resculpt with a correctly sized body proportions. So there's my rant on the figure on the size proportions. Let's take a look at the accessories. The Fortress Robot has some articulation. The arms go up and down. It does have rotation here at the waist, and then it has, oh, this one's got decent head movement. My other one doesn't really, and maybe I just need to get in there with it. But yeah, decent actually head movement. Now the thing I had been finding with these, and I'm actually, now that I'm in here putting some man power behind the movements, I'm finding that you're able to get a lot more articulation out of it than I had gotten. So we do have the arms, we've got the waist, we've got the head, and the head's actually, yeah, the head gets at least some decent movement on this one. So it is a very, very cool little accessory. I'll say that for the Icons line. The figures are coming with some very cool accessories. The one problem I have had with the Fortress robots, both of them, and hopefully I'll be able to amend that now that I've got a little bit more movement, at least out of this one, is they don't stand too well. They're both a little bit front heavy, but I think just putting a little power behind these movements here. I'm always kind of afraid to break a figure. I've broken so many of them doing small and simple things, such as just taking them out of the packaging. And, you know, I saw somebody's rant once about, you know, leave it up to professional reviewers. I've got like 200 and some videos on YouTube. Now, my videos may not be the best or greatest videos, but you know, I'd say that I do pretty decently as a reviewer, and sometimes, you know, they've got this shit so vacuum packaged in there that when you're trying to take it out, you risk, if you use a knife to get it out, you risk accidentally slipping and cutting a figure, which is very simple to do no matter who the hell you are. Or you risk trying to pull it out without cutting the plastic and end up pulling a joint out. And it's unfortunate that they vacuum pack these things to the point where the figure can actually be broken just trying to remove it from the plastic. I will say this for these figures, these I would think would be the most kid-friendly of the DC figures, at least the DC collectibles figures that have been released. I know that we're collectors and whatnot, but this would be an enjoyable figure for a kid to play with. And you know, if really the price point on it, depending on who you get it from, you can get it generally for about 20 bucks on Amazon. Right when they come out, they go for about 24, 25. And if you buy it at a local comic shop, you're looking at probably anywhere from 25 to 30 here in the United States, and God knows what in other countries. So if you wait a little bit, you pick it up on Amazon, you can get it for about $20 price point. Honestly, that's what decent playable action figures go for nowadays. So this is actually, I hope this line is going to be a good seller for DC. I honestly think that they really need to get this into standard retail stores, because the price point is right where the standard action figure is nowadays, maybe a little bit higher. But if you get these into box stores and you don't overpopulate the boxes with the shitty characters who aren't going to sell, or maybe not shitty characters, I don't want to diss on anybody's favorite character or anything, but DC Icons, you know, there's some figures that they've chosen in an Icons line that I don't consider personally to be iconic. Especially younger characters, and I don't mean younger as in the age of the character, I mean as in the real age of the character, as in, you know, it hasn't been around very long, such as Atomica. I realize the premise is she's based off the Atom, and I'm so sorry, I'm ranting again. She's based off the Atom, but it's a character that most of my comic knowledge stops in the early 90s, and it's a character I don't know. I guess that's my problem. So I'm an old man bitching and complaining. I'm sorry. Back to the figure. We've looked at the accessories and the extra hands. Let's take a good look at his articulation. Sadly, he does suffer from the same problem all the other Icons figures suffer from, in that if there is a disaster above them or anything above basically eye-to-eye level, the world is doomed, because not a one of these damn guys has the ability to really look up. I mean, they can do this, but the head really is not going up any farther than that. Now, other than the size of the head being small, I am very, very happy with the head sculpt. It is a very, very good likeness of Superman. I love the fact that they got the S curl up off the forehead, that it is its own piece on there, and that it is surviving shipping and opening, because on both of my figures you can see that the S curl has survived, and with something like that that's small and delicate, a lot of times, especially on what you would consider to be a high-end collector's piece, those pieces are easily damaged and broken off. So kudos to DC for getting something durable on there and giving us that cool feature for a Superman figure that you have gotten in the past, but only rarely. And it does make a figure just pop out when it has that hanging S curl. It does notch a figure up a little bit, at least in my opinion. So, head articulation, obviously, we've got side to side, we've got down really, really good, and it kind of messes with the proportion of the head too. If you look at it from a down angle, it makes the head look better proportioned to the body. And I think even in all the packaging for these figures, it's like they know, because every one of these I've gotten, the vacuum forming is so tight on this that it does push the head down. So every one of these figures, that head is down, and that angle does help this figure make its head look better proportioned. So it does have a good down, but you can tell, like from this angle, you can tell just how much of an optical illusion that is. So we've got good movement on the head, except for looking up. The arms, we've got great ball joints here at the shoulder. We've got great rotation here at the elbow. It does look a little bit weird. The sculpting here, moving from the bicep to the forearm, is a little bit wonky. I realized they were going for as much articulation as humanly possible, but they've done better than this on some of their other figures. Yeah, it's wonky looking. but it is a double jointed elbow, which finally DC is getting into that realm, or at least the DC collectibles. We have seen it in other licensed DC products. It does have the standard icons, ab crunch, and we've got rotation there at the top of the chest. Same, of course, for the other hand. The wrists do have their own pivot in there, and of course they're removable, as we saw. We've got the standard, again, icons legs with full rotation, double jointed knees, and ankle pivot and rotation. So a lot of great articulation with this figure. Like I said, that's what makes this a great figure for kids. This is going to be, if DC gets this into standard retail stores, this will be a competition for the Marvel Legends line. It would be basically what DC Collectibles could have and should have been, which is a serious contender in the market for the share that Hasbro has with those Mattel figure, Hasbro has with the Marvel figures, being able to put those out with the amount of articulation, being able to throw out basically all the characters, but having the big iconic characters sell well enough that they can basically keep producing them, people keep buying them. DC can really get into that market share here with the Icons figures. They have the articulation, they're coming with cool ass accessories. They are basically matching the Hasbro line in that aspect. So I would love to see DC Icons figures make it into the standard retail stores. I'm actually I have spoken to in the past Kevin Kieran, I think it's Kevin. Kevin, if you see this, I'm so sorry, I'm screwing up your names. Kevin K, let's go with that way. I'm going to send him this, and hopefully he doesn't have to sit through this whole video. I'm sorry, Kevin, I'll send you the time that this rambling portion is at, so you don't waste time watching this, though you're probably not going to watch this anyway. I'm going to send this to him and just be like, hey, you know, this would be a great market for DC to move into. The price point's there and the articulation is there. These could be great sellers, and that could give us as collectors so much to look forward to, because all of those figures that would then be being produced, those figures that the people at DC have wanted to put out for so many years but haven't had the line or the the format in which to do it. Now they would, but it's got to be a big seller. So I'm stressing out there. I love these figures. Sculpting errors and whatnot and all, I'm saying go out there, pick these up. They're great figures. Back to Superman here. We're looking at, this has got to be a sticker, the S here. On the other one I received, there was a little bit of missing paint here. So as you can see, I touched that up just a little bit myself, and I didn't quite match it perfectly, but I did what I could. But yeah, he's got the standard gold buckle here. That's awesome to see. Good soft rubber cape. On the back, love seeing the yellow S. So ecstatic that that is coming back to the comics. Making me want to read comics again, but I still miss the undies, and now they're taking away the red boots. All he's going to have left is the S and the cape for the red, and it needs more. Anyway, guys, I do have a problem with the size of Superman's head, but other than that, I love the Icons figure line. Look for more of these Icons reviews to be coming. I had intended to, every time I paused, basically shut off the camera and switch the ass whooping that Aquaman was receiving in the background, but that didn't happen because I just got to rambling, and look at this video, it's like 24 minutes long. I'm so sorry. If you stuck with me throughout, thank you very much. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, unless you're going to comment mean things and then just think them, really hard at me, but don't like write them down or send them. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.